are going to walk through the basics and the generally safest way to set up your Facebook account. If you already have a Facebook account, this video can be useful for you to see how to properly set it up so you understand the privacy settings and what everything actually means. If you don't have a Facebook account, then at this point you can kind of count yourself to be one of the few. But if you're in a developing country, which Modern Lessons caters to quite extensively, then you may not have a Facebook account and you're looking at actually setting one up. So all we did right now is go over to facebook.com. It defaults over to the HTTPS, which is the secure mode of accessing it. So I'd always recommend that if it doesn't show up. But otherwise, we're just going to get started. So I'll use my first name, last name, and we're going to use the Modern Lessons account. Feel free to email us anytime if you have a question, and I'll just make up a password. I can always change it later. For the purpose of this, I'm going to use just a fake birthday, just for my own personal privacy, but we'll say that I'm a male, and make sure you read the terms and conditions here. I'm not going to read them to you in this video because that would take hours and hours, but it talks about safety and the payment system they have, and if you're going to become a developer, then it's really useful you understand all of this because you're dealing with user information. And it talks about advertising, which is of course how Facebook makes their money, just like most sites. And really it gives you everything that you could need to know. We'll link to this on the Modern Lessons course that you're taking part in right now, but in general we can just bypass that. And it'll ask us to remember the password. So all I did was hit sign up right now, and it's talking to the many labyrinthian servers that Facebook has, and it's checking to see if I already have an account and all that stuff. So basically it wants to, like most social networks, see if I already have some friends on here or not. We're going to skip this step, but you can of course go to Gmail, Windows Live, Yahoo, or choose another email service, and it will check your contact list. You'll have to give it permission. But otherwise, it'll just start suggesting your friends. But you can always skip this step, which is great. So we'll hit the skip button. Very useful. And now it starts, since Facebook was founded as a way to connect Harvard University students, where I went, that this is especially important. But let's just say for purposes of this, we went to High School High, John Lovett's movie, and it'll automatically fill out stuff. So we'll just say Harvard, employer, Modern Lessons, and it won't really show up with anything, but we'll say Modern Lessons. And I'm in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and hometown. So there are two different things here to know. There's your current city right here, and then your hometown. Those two things may be the same, they may not if you haven't left, but in general it's useful to know that current city is where you are, and that's the one that's easier to update. The hometown doesn't really change, and it's not displayed as often on Facebook. So, okay, and assuming that your Facebook profile picture upload went properly, you'll be presented with this page, and it'll welcome you there, and I'll just say welcome to Facebook, Jeff. And really what I would recommend to do immediately is to head on over to the privacy settings and the account settings pages. Because when I titled this screencast about properly setting up Facebook, what the proper part meant is the privacy settings. Because you really want to know everything that people can see and what you can see and who can find you and how they can find you and all that stuff. And as Facebook has been building up its open graph search, this is extremely important, especially for new users who may not be completely familiar with the privacy settings. So over here it'll say who can see my stuff, and they've definitely made this a lot simpler to understand for the layperson, which is great, such as myself. So you can say who can see all my future posts, and notice how it says future. It doesn't say all the posts that you've currently done. So great if you're a new user. If you're not a new user and you've been posting for quite a while since Facebook's inception, then this is an important tool for you to keep in mind, but remember it's about future tools. So here is where you can change how that looks. So when you are about to post, you can choose public, or if only the people that you've connected with, like friends, can see what you're posting. only you. The custom I'll walk through in a second, but there's also close friends and family. These were actually added after the Google Plus launch that had a lot of different circles that you can have. And circles are basically just circles of friends and colleagues and that kind of stuff. So for custom privacy, we can choose to send our updates to lists of people that we want to make, and we can also block people. So say there's John Smith down the street who you really don't want to share stuff with, and you can add him. You just type in his name, John Smith, and if you were a friend, that would bring up his face and profile, and you would just select him. So for now, we'll delete that and hit cancel, but that is the most important way to set up your Facebook account immediately. Some other ones are reviewing all your posts and things you're tagged in. So you can say that you'll use your activity log, which will then show you all the activity you've ever done. Since we just set up our account, not a ton of activity, but that's okay. We can also limit the audience for posts that we've shared with friends or friends of the public, or the public. And that's when you just click limit past posts, and that's when you can do limit old posts. So remember before when I said you can only change your future posts? Here's where you change the old posts, and then you just hit limit old posts. I'm not going to do that now because I don't have any posts to limit. And now comes the sort of topical thing about Open Graph Search, where you can provide your Facebook phone number, you can provide Facebook your phone number, or really any kind of identifying information, and that's where they get to take full advantage of all the data that they acquire. So this is where you can choose who can actually look you up by either your email address or your phone number. So you can choose friends, so current friends could find you by punching in your phone number. Friends of friends, that's 1 degree away, or everyone. It defaults to everyone, so you can actually have people find you after they join Facebook. So that's useful, but if you don't want to share your email address or phone number out there, then that's a really good way to sort of stay a little bit hidden. And now we can link to or adjust how search engines view us. This is really for Facebook Open Graph Search and Google and Bing. So in other words, basically if the setting is on, it's easier for other search engines to link to your timeline in search results, but if you turn it off, it takes a while for them to stop showing the link, but eventually you won't be as big a deal or prevalent in Facebook and graph searches. So now we'll walk through the timeline and tagging, which is a very useful thing. So who can add things to my timeline, who can post on your timeline, and review posts that friends tag you in before they appear, which is great, especially for marketing. A lot of businesses will just add your name, which is kind of strange once you get a lot of followers and stuff, because then it'll appear in your timeline and it's almost like an implicit, recommendation from you for these businesses. So I definitely recommend keeping an eye on this stuff as you get to be the person with billions of friends on Facebook. Who can see things on my timeline? You can review what other people see on your timeline, which is great. One of my favorite features is View As, which you can choose. We don't need to say that. And you can just view it as the public or as a different person, basically how anybody would come across you. So you can enter your friend's name and it'll show you exactly what Facebook would show them if they came to your account, which is really fun. So I definitely recommend doing that so you understand how it all works. And then finally, how can I manage tags that people add and tagging suggestions? So if you don't know, tags are kind of like on WordPress where people can write in keywords and they can tag you sort of in those keywords, or really it's used for photos more than anything on Facebook. So people can tag you as appearing in a photo, which is really fun and a great way to stay connected with those people. But if that's not your thing, then you can always turn it off. So here's what a Facebook tag looks like. See, this guy, Jerry Liu, was tagging Francis McDonald, and that's apparently Francis McDonald. So we can disable or enable that, which is handy. Really just read all this stuff really closely before you do anything. But it's all pretty clear at this point because Facebook got a ton of blowback for not being that easy to manage your privacy. And with a billion plus users, that's a big deal. And here's the blocking list. If you're a new user, this may not be that useful, but if you're an old hat at Facebook, you definitely want to take a look at block app invites. So if you have a bunch of people playing Farmville, you can block all of those ahead of time. Event invites, if someone is harassing you by inviting you to a ton of events. Same with block apps. So again, with Farmville, rather than an invite, if people are playing Farmville or one of the many other games like Bejeweled or something, it won't appear on your stream and you won't get as much notification and information about it, which is great. So here is how you get all your notifications, and you can manage this once you set up your Facebook app or add in your phone number on your smartphone, or add your phone number to Facebook and include your smartphone. So here it's pretty straightforward. So how you get notifications on Facebook, they would appear up here. If you can see where the mouse is. Don't have any yet. No friend requests. We don't have any friends. And here's where you control what you get notified about. So activity that involves you, again, that's like the tagging and that kind of stuff. So you can hit view there, or close friends activity, which is great. And that means that if close friends are doing things, basically people you've friended and talk with a lot, Facebook will recognize that. It'll start sending you emails and notify you on Facebook about their activity, which is great in keeping you involved in the whole community. And same with tags. If anybody tags you right now, you'll get a notification. Okay, so let's move on to the mobile privacy. So now we would need to add our phone. I'm not going to do that, but basically you'll add a phone. It'll send you a confirmation code, and then that will tell Facebook that it's okay to send you notifications for friend requests, messages, wall posts, status updates from the friends. And I assume that'll mean even more once they sort of unveil the new Facebook redesign, which is going to feature more open graph search and all that kind of stuff. So you can turn on followers here, which is the other setting, which will allow people to follow you and make your, and it'll allow people to see all your public posts. If you ever wanted to start your own blog, you could actually just start a blog by making public posts on Facebook and having a follower button on any website or that kind of stuff. So pretty fun. That's a new thing for them, relatively. Here is the app settings, where your name, profile picture, cover photo, gender, networks, username, and user ID are always publicly available, including to apps. So what does that mean? That means that apps want to use your identifying information, which is kind of scary, but you always get to control how much you share with these apps. So you don't necessarily have to give your social security number to Farmville, but you probably do have to share your email address with Farmville so they can send you a lot of updates, that kind of stuff. So we'll move on down to ads. We can tailor sort of how the ads look. Facebook wants to show you as many ads as possible, so they don't really give you a ton. You can't exactly turn on an ad blocking software or anything like that. That's native to Facebook at least. So what you can click here is under ads and friends. You can kind of change some key features here. So see the difference, Denver Sushi, just a random Facebook ad. But if you allow this, you can have your name put underneath it. So it says that I like emu, which is, unrelated. So I would probably disable that. So we'll say, pair my social actions with ads for no one. So nobody will see that I like stuff as an ad. Last two, payments is pretty self-explanatory. Facebook has some credits that they do, which is just a digital kind of like Bitcoin offering where you can basically buy Facebook credits and use them for a few things. They're slowly doing more and more ways to spend money. So Facebook wants to make money. They're a public company. They want to take your actual physical money and turn it into Facebook credits. I'm not going to recommend either way in that direction. And then finally is the support dashboard. So if you have problems or questions or reporting someone as spam, then this will all show up here. All right, so that's it. Start updating Facebook, and that's how you properly set it all up. And if you have any questions, move on to the next lesson. We'll walk through what the news feed is and all that kind of good stuff.